Raise the alarm!
Hey guys and girls, DC here, and as you can see, I'm back in my van at the car park at work, and I have a good video here. It's probably a little bit longer than the usual videos, and it is cybersecurity slash information security contractor wages. Now, these are the most commonly found contractor jobs that I could find in the US market for both CyberSec and InfoSec. And the wages are based on an annual income, and most of the contracts that I saw, they're only a 12-month contract. So there is possible extension usually written in the end, but that's more of a sweetened deal type thing. So anyway, straight into it. The first one is a Splunk engineer, and it's a US government contract. The wage for this one is $160K annually. So it's a 1-year contract. You get paid $160,000 US. And I've got a description here for the job, which is to drive complex security-focused deployment of Splunk while working side by side with personnel to solve unique issues, integrations across a variety of departments. So a little bit vague. Design and implement dashboards and reports, create rapid prototypes, that would be in Splunk and reporting systems, and also to leverage previous experiences, share best practices, and create innovative solutions to push user adoption and maximize the value of Splunk within the house. This one's kind of interesting because Splunk engineers in Australia don't get paid, well, they get paid around that much, but when you compare the wages, yeah, that's quite a lot for a Splunk engineer, but that's okay. Maybe there's lots of them here, or maybe the US government is looking for more. Anyway, next one is a senior security engineer, and this is again a US government contract role, and it is for $185,000 on a 12-month contract with possible extension into a full-time position. The description for the job was, I should probably mention quickly, these jobs, I went through a whole bunch of job websites and I had a chat to a couple of guys in the US, some friends of mine who work for the US government in cybersecurity, and they were sort of going through the job descriptions that they had on their job applications. So I sort of made an average of the wages that they get and that I could find online, and that's what this list is. Anyway, so senior security engineer for US government, $175,000 US a year. Description is senior sales engineers, sometimes called system engineers or field consultants, work with the sales team to help explain and demonstrate technological aspects of the product being marketed. This is, they provide advice to clients and support, help. So the description was extremely vague, basically. It just says like they help prospective clients understand why their product is a better resolution to a problem they're having over a similar product, protect the environment, talk with compliance and risk officers. It's very vague, but the government usually is on these sort of things. So there you go. Next up is the Cisco ACI engineer, and this was for a private US company. The wage for them in a year on a contract rate is $160,000 US. Responsibilities include troubleshooting and support of ACI contracts, collection and analysis of Tetra and analytics telemetry, collaboration with application SMEs to approve ACI contracts, collaboration with business information security officers on protocol risk, training level 1 and 2 support teams to get through ACI contract stuff, troubleshooting, I assume. yeah, that one, you don't see that too much in Australia, but I have seen a lot of them in the US and the UK. So there you go. Okay, next one, risk, security, and compliance officer. So this is pretty much what I do. US government, it's 130,000 US dollars. Sounds about right. It's pretty similar to here. Description, responsible for managing the regulatory compliance, security, and organizational risk management requirements, fulfillment activities. Yep. Responsibilities of the position include managing the company's day-to-day activities to fulfill safety, security, and compliance responsibilities under the following reference documents and controls embedded in specifications and other controlled documents. There was a list there, but I must have removed it. Ensure policies and practices are in compliance with industry regulations and standards. Educate employees and implement best practices. Ensure the highest possible level of awareness and the requirements and achievement of full compliance. Yep. Attend risk, security, and compliance programs and develop initiatives based on findings. That last step is actually probably the most fun part of the job because you get to go to different conferences and talk with people, and yeah, that's it. And then you report your findings back to people. Next up is the information security engineer, also known as a cybersecurity engineer, which is the one that most people seem to follow this channel for. However, this one is a specialization in Active Directory. The job description is for a AD specialist, but the wage is pretty much the same for any of them. So this is a US government contract, and it's averaging around 110,000 per year for a 1-year contract. The information security engineer is an intermediate engineering level position in the information security, identity, and access management discipline, dedicated to improving the security posture of the client as it relates to informational and identity assets associated with users, computer systems, and business applications. Extremely vague description, but basically you got to look after Active Directory and the securities around that. That's what this AD specialist position is about. But a cybersecurity engineer would cover most bases. This is just because it is government, they do segregate each person into different areas. Next one, the cybersecurity analyst. This is a US government position, and it's 100,000 US dollars per year on a 1-year contract, obviously. And yeah, this one's pretty common, and I'm surprised the average was less than an engineer, but there you go. Cybersecurity analyst senior. A cybersecurity analyst is responsible for helping to manage the program's assessment and authorization efforts by focusing on the risk management and security authorization activities in accordance with the applicable National Institute of Standards and Technology 800 series guidelines, as well as a whole lot of other guidelines, which I won't go through because they're boring. Where's the juicy bit? The CS analyst senior will report to the CS team lead and perform and manage tasks related to the entire assessment and authorization lifecycle. Yeah, so it's sort of like a tech, well, not really a tech lead, but a lead for that department. And then the actual tech lead, which is the DevOps lead, and this is for a private US company. This was a job description that a friend of mine went for who works in the US. He gets 150,000 US dollars per year, and he is working as a contractor. So his job description was, you will be responsible for ensuring the uptime of our most critical development and customer-facing systems. You will have a deep first-hand understanding of DevOps, including production support, CI/CD, and cloud service delivery, providing a balance between development and operations. tech lead, in short. Play an integral role in defining and assessing our organization's security, strategy, architecture, and practices. You will be required to effectively translate business objectives and risk management strategies into specific security process enabled by security technologies and services. We expect you to be both a highly technical, hands-on engineer with an effective people and project manager. So it's all round. You're doing a lot of project management, you're doing a lot of risk assessment, you're doing a lot of tech, hands-on tech work, and you need to be really, really good. So you do get paid a lot for that, but it's a difficult role. This is the one I usually promote the most, and it's the network security engineer. Basically because it's one of the highest paid for the lowest amount of study and qualifications that you need. So this was for a friend of mine again who works in the US. He's making $130,000 a year on a contract as well, and it's a private US company that he's working for. So this was his job description, but they're all very similar to these from what I've seen anyway. So certification in Palo Alto and or Checkpoint firewalls required. Board and network security engineer with 3 to 5 years experience managing and deploying firewalls, IPS, IDS, MPS devices globally. Coordinate with the InfoSec compute teams and ops to migrate planned application into network security zones. Experience with VMware, ESXi, vCenter, vSphere, NSX, DFW, and VRNI. So basically, what they're going to be doing is deploying virtual firewalls. That's what this guy's job is. So he's looking after, there's all other stuff in here like follow all change management and ITIL process while coordinating, implementing, and deploying activities. So he's going to have to do a migration of firewalls by the sounds of it, from whatever it is into a virtual, and then he's going to have to manage that environment. And they'll probably give him like a 2 month to 3 month period of time to get that project complete, and then the management phase will be the remaining time of his contract until he hands it over to someone else who they have to pay less. They do it like that because there's less risk when they employ a contractor. So while you have a higher responsibility as a contractor usually, you also have a higher risk. So yeah, his risk is pretty high. They can fire him at any time, but that's okay. What other stuff is there? Keep all border security design documentation up to date for operational support, compliance, and audit. So that's basically so he can hand it over to someone else once his contract is finished. So yeah, that's all of the main CyberSec, InfoSec contractor wages for the most popular jobs I can find at the moment and that my friends have applied for that I could get information on. If you did like this video, don't forget to subscribe, give me a like, and yeah, ask any questions in the comments. I'm always happy to answer, and I try to get to every single one of you. I'm still in the progress of making a few different cybersecurity engineer videos, so I'll hopefully get them out either later this week or next week. But yeah, I'll see you on the next one, guys. Peace.